Look, even in the 50s, Jack wasn't really at the helm. He was a young fellow in the 50s, and my understanding of Hutchinson's, having done some research since joining there 10 years ago, is that the business has waxed and waned since 1912, depending on who was at the helm. It was at a low ebb when Jack Hutchinson came to the fore, and from that time onwards, it's grown to be now at its best ever. Jack's motivation to come into the business was to fix it. He saw that it was in strife and needed an injection of intellect and effort, and Jack decided that he was the bloke to make that happen.
It was down and out completely, so I actually went in to try to straighten it out. I didn't expect to make any money at all, and Dad didn't want me to come in because he shouldn't think I could do it. It'd be downhill fast. I just turned up at his doorstep and I said, just give us a carpenter's wage. You got them everywhere, so just give us one of those. And that was about half what I was getting in where I was, but that didn't matter. Everything we had to change. I went around looking at things. How can we do that better? How can we do this a bit better? Or trying to cut labour down and everything. And of course we did, and that's the big thing.
And you'd have to put that down to Jack grasping the reins, and I believe in equivalent terms now, it might have been a business that was doing $5 or $6 million turnover a year, and then over the subsequent 10 or 15 or 20 years to about the time when Scott came in, the business was doing $15–20 million turnover, had a wonderful reputation, did a lot of regional and remote area work, and there's no doubt in my mind that Jack was the start of that development. When he took over the reins, he introduced and steered Scott into the scene, and between the three of us, we've got the place to where it is now in 2010. I think his charisma is the thing that I could never get over. I could be in the middle of a room of people at cocktails having to say a few words, trying to get peace and quiet in the room, to no avail, but Jack would just have to say, excuse me, and the whole room would go hush. He just carries a certain charisma with him, and not everybody has it. He's certainly one that does though. Well, he's very quiet, and the feedback I get from long-term employees, and that's one of the great characteristics of Hutchinson's, the number of people that start their career there and finish their career there, is that Jack could ask you to do something and you just wanted to fulfil his wishes. He's a born leader. He was promoted during my time to the national presidency with the Master Builders, which was an honorary position, and it's not something he aspired to. He was promoted because he was a standout in the leadership stakes. He likes to see everybody treated fairly. Jack could sit on a Besser block down in the car park with a bunch of labourers and have a discussion. Equally, he could sit in the lodge talking to the Prime Minister about policy matters, and Jack would treat neither group differently.
I think the big thing that I'm trustworthy. If you say you'll do it, you've got to go and do it, and you won't always do it, but you always try. Early years we had no solicitors, and then we got too many of them, I think, and we hardly ever go to one now. Of course we have to see them at times, but very, very seldom. And I think that's a bit of trustworthy as well, that we can go and talk it out with them and come to an agreement.
His son Scott, who is my age roughly, has a wonderful intellectual hold on the company, but he's so proud of his dad and looks to him for experience. Scott always looks to Jack to see what he'd do in certain situations, despite the fact that Scott now has nearly 30 years under his belt within the company himself. I'm not aware of any company that's been fourth generation and lasted 100 years. For a construction company to have survived that period is absolutely remarkable. That's why there's so very few that have got over the 100-year mark. But the longer that life exists, the more determined the Hutchinsons are to make sure it goes on for another 100 years, and they're looking fervently at the moment for the fifth generation Hutchinson to come into the business. It's a wonderful record.